From the News Channel 5 Network, this is SportsLine.
Hey there, SportsLine on your television. Steve Layman here with you. Glad you are here with us tonight on News Channel 5. Plus, some big news from the NHL Awards tonight, and really disappointing news for Predators captain Roman Josi. Such an incredible season. He had, by the statistics, with 96 points this season, the best statistical season by a defenseman in 3 decades. He was the first guy over 90 points since 1994. 96 points, far and away a franchise record for the Predators. Yet somehow Josi was not named the best defenseman of this year tonight. That went to Cale Makar of the Avalanche. And granted, Colorado had an amazing season. The Avalanche are up 2-1 on the Lightning in the Stanley Cup final right now. But this is supposed to be a regular season award. And as great as Cale Makar was, this season by Roman Josi this year was epic greatness. It was epic greatness. He's a previous Norris Trophy winner. He had a far better season this year than the year he won it in. I just do not get it. His season was so good, he finished 6th in the media vote for the Hart Trophy for Most Outstanding Player. He was also one of the 3 finalists for the Ted Lindsay Award, which is voted on by the players for Most Outstanding Player. I mean, he had the respect of everything this year, yet somehow he doesn't win the Norris Trophy over Cale Makar. And it all comes down to this. Most of the ballots had Josi and Makar 1 and 2 in either order. Josi actually had more first-place votes, but he loses by a total of 25 points. And here's why. Makar was 1 or 2 on all but 5 ballots. And the 5 he wasn't 1 or 2, he got a 3rd place vote. Josi was 3rd on 17 ballots. He was actually 4th on 3, which is criminal. It just is criminal. That's all I will say. But not as criminal as leaving him off your ballot altogether, which some yahoo out there did. I'm at a loss for words, honestly. Roman Josi was the best defenseman in the NHL this year. His season was part of the reason why a Preds team nobody thought was going to be any good at the beginning of the year got to the playoffs. His assist totals and the plays he made, part of the reason why Matt Duchene and Philip Forsberg became the first 2 40-goal scorers in Predators franchise history. Roman Josi had that good of a season. And it is just really too bad that he does not get a 2nd Norris Trophy, because he deserved it. He absolutely deserved it for this season. Cale Makar is going to win a bunch of these down the road. He's really, really good and super talented and only going to get better. But he didn't deserve it this year. He was good, really good. First team All-NHL, which Josi thankfully was as well. But his season wasn't better than Roman Josi, not in the regular season. And that's what this award is supposed to be all about. So that is a really frustrating deal. I think if you're a Predators fan, certainly if you're Roman Josi, who is seated next to David Poile at the awards tonight. Predators goaltender UC Saros was a finalist for the Vezina Trophy. He's had 2 remarkable years, but I don't think anybody really thought he was going to win this year, especially with the injury late in the season. And he ended up finishing 3rd. He was the 3rd finalist. Igor Shesterkin of the New York Rangers is your Vezina Trophy winner. As we mentioned, Austin Matthews of Toronto wins both the Ted Lindsay and the Hart Awards as the most outstanding player in the NHL. Calder Award, Tanner Jeannot in the mix, not a finalist, but up there in the voting. And some good news. Preds did have 1 rookie on the all-rookie team. That would be defenseman Alexander Carrier. So that pretty much wraps up the season in terms of the awards. Of course, the NHL finals, 2-1 in favor of Colorado, but the Lightning bounced back in a huge way last night, winning 6-2 putting that 7-0 drubbing in Colorado in Game 2 behind them and getting officially on the board in this series and making it a series. The old saying is that a series doesn't really begin until a road team wins. Well, that has not happened yet. And Game 4 is tomorrow night in Tampa Bay, with the two-time defending champion Lightning having the chance to even the series at 2 games apiece. Our phone lines are open tonight, 737-7767. If you would like to chime in on that conversation, tell me how mad you are that Roman Josi didn't win, because I am in agreement with you. That should not have happened tonight, and it's disappointing. It is very much disappointing. And by the way, it's the first time in 6 years that the Predators do not get any hardware on NHL Awards night, whether it be last year King Clancy Award going to Pekka Rinne in his final season for everything that he had done on and off the ice here, whether it be the Norris Trophy of Roman Josi, whether it be some leadership awards that we've seen in the past, the Vezina Trophy of Pekka Rinne a few years ago. The Predators had won an award. It's 6 consecutive years. That streak comes to an end with Josi getting snubbed here tonight. Again, our phone lines are open, but we're going to switch gears here a little bit and talk NASCAR. Back in town this week, getting set for 3 races at Nashville Super Speedway. You got the Trucks race coming up on Friday night. Then Saturday afternoon, the Xfinity Series Tennessee Lottery 250, followed by the Ally 400, the Cup Series race back for its 2nd year on Sunday. Green flag on that race drops at 4 o'clock. Should be a lot of good racing. Boy, is it going to be hot out there. If you're going to go out, make sure you wear light clothes. Make sure you got the water handy. They've done the best that they can to set up the place to allow you to enjoy it despite the weather. But it is going to be steamy out there this weekend. That asphalt is going to be hot, and hopefully the racing is just as hot as well. I got a chance to catch up with Joey Logano over the off weekend to get a feel for how the drivers feel about this season that's been crazy with the next-gen cars, a bunch of different winners throughout the course of it, what NASCAR views Nashville as, what this race looked like last year and what he learned from it, and of course, Joey Logano's own personal goals in his career at this point. Let's take a listen to my conversation with NASCAR Cup Series driver Joey Logano.
Well, let's just start here. It has been a wide open year on the NASCAR Cup Series, 12 winners and 16 races to this point. What has made the racing so spectacular this year?
Well, I think there's a lot of different things. The unknown has been one big piece of it. The next-gen car, limited practice, teams are scratching their heads. I think every team at this point of the season can say they've had an up-and-down year. And that means they've hit it good one weekend, and next weekend they completely missed it. And there's just such a steep learning curve in front of all of us, and we're figuring it out together when we get a time. And all the fans are enjoying watching us struggle. But that's what it is, and that's what competition is. The same for everybody, and it's been pretty fun to watch.
Now, how does this shake out for the rest of the summer, though? Because normally at this point of the year, if you got to win, you're feeling really good about your chances to be in the playoffs. That's not necessarily the case right now, given how many winners there are. So how does this impact the playoff chase?
I still don't think there's going to be more than 16 winners. I don't think so. There could be. Is it probably a better chance this year than ever, but I don't believe it's going to happen. We got a couple wins, so I'm feeling good about that. So we don't have to worry about it personally, but it is definitely something that can happen. We haven't seen it happen in a long, long time, but it can. And when you look at some of the racetracks coming up and some of the drivers that haven't won a race yet, you can kind of, see a few of them say, hey, these guys probably should win at some point and lock themselves into the playoffs. So we'll kind of have to wait and see. Hopefully we win them all and we just keep them all out anyway.
That would be nice for sure. The sport keeps growing. That's obvious over the last couple of years. And just Sunday, we saw Daniel Suarez win in Sonoma. He became the first Mexican-born driver to win a NASCAR Cup Series race. What does it mean for the sport to continue to see this growth, both amongst drivers but also in the fan base?
Oh, it's great. It's great for so many different reasons, and a lot of it's because we're changing, we're doing things differently, right? Whether it's going to new racetracks like Nashville last year and going back there again, which is an incredible market, and race fans that were there and excited about it. And we saw that when we brought the banquet there and we did the burnouts on the boulevard, and they're screaming for a race. They couldn't ask any louder, to have a race there. It's great. Suarez winning this weekend. Yeah, I mean, I wish it was us. Don't get me wrong, but it's still good for him to win a race, right? I mean, you think of his fan demographic and fans in Mexico, right? And for NASCAR and growing our sport from that standpoint, it's still a good thing, right? It's to me, it's not as good as if we won, but it's still a good thing for the sport. So I think all the things that we're doing and change and moving forward and progressing our sport has been great.
And you alluded to it. There's definitely been a push to get back to Music City with the banquet and the awards, and obviously the Ally 400 return last year. How important is this market in this city, in this state, to NASCAR?
I think it's pretty important. That's why we're there, and after going there for the banquet and then also racing there, it's kind of like, why weren't we there before? It's kind of like we were missing the boat on this thing somewhere, because Nashville's such a growing market. Obviously you're there, you see it. And it's a great place to live, and people realize that. And there's a lot of race fans there, and Nashville and NASCAR and country music and all that just goes perfect together. And I think we all realize that now.
So Kyle Larson won last year in the return of the Ally 400. After 1 year back on the track, what did you learn about what the racing is like here and what you have to do on Sunday?
Yeah, the racing was fantastic, which was, I don't want to make it come across wrong, but it's a little surprising, because when I ran there, whatever it was, 12 years before that or so, the racing was just okay, and it was locked down the bottom. And we went there this time, and the track was wide, cars running top to bottom, good racing, slide jobs, the whole night. Like, it was really cool. I expect the same thing when we go back.
What do you think made that change, and what do you have to do to capitalize on that this time?
Well, they put some a product on the racetrack, we call it resin. It's basically something that fills in the pores of the racetrack, makes it just a smoother surface. And that stuff kind of wears off. So you end up chasing it up the racetrack. That's where the grip is. So as it wears off on the bottom, you keep moving up and finding more, which naturally just made the track wide after that. And so that was a big thumbs up for me. And I think the whole sport, and I'm pretty certain we'll do the whole thing again.
Well, you've had a good season so far. You've won twice. Really, here in the last couple of months, you won at Darlington, you won at Gateway. Do you feel like you're kind of heating up along with the weather as we get into the summer months?
It seems like it. We're on a bit of a roll. It's the most up and down season, though, of my career. I think of just right before, we win there in St. Louis. The week before, we were running the Coca-Cola 600. We crash, kill the fence. I mean, it hit hard. And then go to Michigan to do a tire test, blow a tire, hit the wall there. So it's 2 big hits in 3 days. And then we go to St. Louis and we win the race. So it's just been like the biggest up and down season I've ever been a part of. And I think it's the same for everyone, because even with all those ups and downs, we're 5th in points and we're only 30 points out of the lead. Like we're close. We're still in the hunt. Tells me that nobody has this new car figured out. There's a lot of inconsistency throughout the field right now.
What are you trying to do over the next few weeks as you make that playoff push? Because obviously you're in a great position.
Yeah, you just got to keep learning and collecting this data. It's harder than ever to progress right now because we have limited practice. We can't change a lot in the practice that we do have. And we have a brand new car with no notes. So learning right now is more challenging than ever. So the more time you're on the racetrack, the better, and keep debriefing and learning and taking those things and applying them to the next racetrack. That's all we can do at this point. And whether you have 2 wins or not at this point, that's what you're doing, because we got to keep getting better for the playoffs.
You were the 2018 Cup Series champion. You're 32 now. Is that the biggest goal on the table for Joey Logano right now? Get back to that winner's circle holding the trophy at the end of the year?
Every year, it's the same goal. My goal never changes. It's win the championship. That's the biggest thing you can win. Put that at the top of the bucket list. Go for that one.
All right, Joey Logano, last week getting set for this week out at Nashville Super Speedway. Of course, the Ally 400 is the big thing that he's looking forward to, trying to get that third win of the season and keep moving up the points race as they move towards the playoffs at the end of the summer. Year 2 of NASCAR back at Nashville Super Speedway. Lots changed since they were here more than a decade ago, and a few things are going to change from last year to this year, hopefully to improve fan experience if you're going to be out there. When we come back, the conversation that our executive producer Brian McKeegan had with Eric Moses, who is the president of Nashville Super Speedway, on what to expect this weekend. That's when we return here on SportsLine on News Channel 5+.